This episode is brought to you by HBO's The Regime. Academy Award winner Kate Winslet stars in the new HBO original limited series, The Regime. With her nation on the verge of greatness, the Chancellor, played by Winslet, becomes increasingly paranoid and delusional. She will stop at nothing to prove her worth on the world stage, or end up a national disaster. From executive producers of Succession, HBO's The Regime premieres March 3rd on Max.
This episode is brought to you by JLL. Get an insider view into the world of commercial real estate with JLL's podcast, Trends and Insights, the Future of Commercial Real Estate. Whether you're curious about making cities more sustainable, the evolution of office space, or AI opportunities, this podcast will help keep you a step ahead. Tune in for candid conversations with business leaders about the biggest trends impacting how we live, work, and play. Subscribe to Trends and Insights now at jll.com/podcast.
If the thing is garbage, and according to you, you're showing it to your friends who are in the business and they're saying it's garbage, if that's true, and it's not that you just lost your steam and you don't feel like finishing it and you want your money back, if that's true that it's garbage, who pays a second payment?
She's a really sweet talker.
She's a sweet talker.
This is the plaintiff, Shabad Hosseini. He says he signed up for and paid for an online class that promised he'd get a pharmacy tech license, which would lead to a high-paying job. He gave the sweet-talking defendant money for the course, and when he went online and actually started it, he realized it was a joke. He was scammed, and that's why he's suing for the return of his hard-earned $1,300. This is the defendant, Rosie Delgani. She says the plaintiff only did a small portion of the required workload, and you don't complete her program, you can't get your license. She has plenty of students who've taken her course and have gone on to high-paying jobs. She's legit, and if anyone's owed money, it's her. She's accused of fulfilling a prescription for failure. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $700 for the course balance owed.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Shabad Hosseini.
Good morning,
You
Your
are
Honor.
suing Rosie Delgani?
Yes.
For $1,300 that you paid for a program that you say is a sham, and you are counterclaiming against him the $700 that he still owes for the $2,000 for that program. All right, what kind of program are we talking about?
It's for pharmacy tech.
For
pharmacy
what do you
tech
mean,
license.
like for pharmacy tech? You mean to help you study for the test?
No, she said that by taking that class, you will get your pharmacy technician license and you will be able to start work right after.
Okay, how does that work? I mean, is this a course that you take and then you're certified and then you can try to find a job, or is this assisting people for a test that they have to take? What is this?
Yeah, that program is assisting people for the national exam. They can pass the exam from the program and then get the license.
So in other words, you test them yourself?
No, it's an online program.
It's an online test that the state of California has?
Yes. Yes.
The online test, do you make that test?
No, that's from Pharmacy Assured program.
All right. I sign up for your course. I pay you $2,000. What do I get?
You get your license from California, Board of California.
Why?
When you pass the exam.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean,
Yeah.
wait a minute. I just buy my license? How does it
Yes.
work? All right. And so it's classes online?
Yes.
And then at the end of how many classes?
It depends on the student, how they can
Give me
study.
the average.
The average is going to be a year.
A year of studying
yes.
with the program?
Yes.
You're a retailer of the program,
Yes.
correct? You buy it from a wholesaler?
Yes.
That doesn't sell to the public or that does?
They don't sell it to the public.
And then you retail it?
Yes.
Okay. And then if he passes the test, he then can get a state of California license?
Yes.
And that somehow what? He can get a better paying job, or it's a good paying job that he couldn't have gotten otherwise?
Yes.
All right. Was that your understanding of it too?
Mostly, yes.
Okay. All right, so what went wrong?
The program wasn't what she said. It's all like mostly small, like 1 minute, 30 seconds video clips of some guy standing with a lab coat discussing some stuff, and then some reading parts that were so basic, nothing of what I expected. I have like friends that already have their license.
But why didn't you go to their courses?
Their courses is like 8 to 9 months, or some of them are like 1.5 year courses, and they cost like more money. And with the amount of money that I had and the time frame, I thought maybe this one would work, but it was too good to be true.
Okay. You sell him the program, and the first time that she talks to you about it, you folks meet where? Starbucks. All right. You don't have an office where you meet clients?
Yes, he didn't want to come to the office.
Okay. So, no?
First, on the very first time, she said, come to this office. It was an office that some other people were there, and she just sat behind the desk, and she had a laptop. She showed me some stuff, and she said, these are the stuff that you have to study. And then I told her that I will think about it. And
were there books involved too, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. So you end up meeting her at a Starbucks, and you hand her $1,000.
I gave her my credit card, yes.
Okay. Right. And then you start the program.
Yes.
And immediately you realize that the program is garbage, according to you.
A couple of weeks after, yes.
Okay. And then what happens?
I called her and I told her that this is not like what I was expecting. I have friends that they already have the license. They checked the program. I showed it to them, and they all said.
Is he here as a witness?
I'm sorry. No, she.
Do you have an affidavit from her?
No.
Okay.
So they said that this is not something that would give me the license, and she also called the pharmacy board to check to see if the school and the program is accredited.
Okay, but
it wasn't accredited school program.
Right, because they're not a school. You're not a school, right? You're an online. You're just selling someone else's online course. So your business is not an accredited school. Is that course accredited, or they don't need to be accredited?
It is accredited,
okay.
And I have students. They passed the program and they got licensed, and I brought the evidence that to show you.
Now, if the thing is garbage, and according to you, you're showing it to your friends who are in the business, and they're saying it's garbage. If that's true, and it's not that you just lost your steam and you don't feel like finishing it and you want your money back, if that's true that it's garbage, who pays a second payment?
She's a really sweet talker.
She's a sweet talker?
Yes.
Okay, and you should not probably be dispensing medicine if you can't figure out what's right and what's wrong. What do you think happened?
Actually, he didn't call me, and I was like calling him, and he didn't answer my phone. I called his dad.
His dad? Why his dad? How old are you?
Because his dad.
31.
How old?
31.
Why are you calling his dad?
Because he didn't answer the phone, and
How did you have his dad's number?
His dad was introducing him to me, because his dad, one of the person, he saw my advertising, and he called me and he said.
So you had the dad's number? So you
yes.
call the dad and you say, I can't reach your son. He owes me money.
Exactly. And then he asked me to come to the Starbucks again.
The dad did. Okay, so he asked you to meet him at the Starbucks.
Yeah, I think I'm sweet. He wants to have a coffee with me. So that's why he invited me to Starbucks.
Okay.
When I went to Starbucks, I went with one of my friends. He's involving with legal things.
Is he a lawyer?
He's doing, he's not a lawyer. He's like doing legal things for people. So
well, that's called unlawful practice of law. But you mean he's a
not
paralegal?
A lawyer. I don't remember.
Paralegal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, paralegal. So he didn't talk, and he was like getting nervous. Why I brought that person, because that person is my partner. I'm selling the program.
Partner how?
On his office, because he was telling
partner in what?
I'm
business?
selling, not on this business. I'm selling the program on his office. So I'm paying him for having customer in his office. So I don't work.
Forget about that. I don't care about that.
Yes.
I don't care if people want to meet where they're roasting beans, or people want to meet where you pay rent. I don't care. Let me just ask you this. When you met with the father, what did he say or do?
He said he's busy. He's working in a pharmacy company, and he said he doesn't have time. He's so busy he cannot study, and even he offered me I do the exam for him to get
the
license.
father offered to you
Exactly.
that you do the exam for the son. Step up. Is that Dad?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, come on up. The father said to you, will you take the exam for my son?
Exactly, but he didn't
And then what do you
talk
mean
in
offered
front
to you?
of
He
my
offered you
friend.
money?
Yeah, he said money does everything. And I said, money does everything, but I'm gonna lose my license. And he said, I was just thinking you're a nice person, you can help him. I said, I can help him, but you have to study.
But you don't think that he was doing his part?
He didn't.
And why
because
do you
I
say
check
he
him.
wasn't?
Because I checking my students on the program, and he did just one exam on law part. And which is, there is like 12 exams, 12 short quiz, and then long exam.
So he hadn't done any of that stuff?
He didn't.
Dad, did you offer her money to take the
No.
test for your son?
No.
Why did you meet with her? She told you on the phone,
Yeah.
I can't reach him. For what reason do you agree to go meet her somewhere?
Because she called many times to my son. They bother him.
Go ahead.
I'm assuming that he went just to stop the harassment, just to stop the many
The
phone
harassment.
calls.
Were you harassing
like,
him?
so many phone calls, so many text messages.
Okay, but show me the text messages where she's harassing you. She's trying to collect her. Oh, you don't have that either.
No,
She's trying
I'm
to
like
collect the $700 that you owe her for the rest of the program because you owe it to her whether or not you finish a program. How many tests did you take on the program?
Like the first one, I believe.
That's it? And then you're saying that's a sham and a scam and she's dishonest and she's cheating people? Are you cheating people?
No.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So we are in Los Angeles in front of the TMZ Hollywood Tour Bus. Yeah. So we decided to talk to all these people from all over the world about the cases. Beginning with this, I'm going to go in the back of this. Are online schools legitimate? You know, these online schools?
No, because you can't.
You gotta lean in further, Mike. I'm not 6'6".
No, because you can't skip classes and things if it's online.
You can't? That weirdly made sense. What do you think? Are they legit online schools?
Yes, they're legit. I mean, there's University of Phoenix. People, they have families, they have to learn online at home for their schedule. So yeah.
She just shamed us. Now we can't tell jokes going inside the courtroom.
I have students that they passed and they got their license from Board of California.
All right. Let me ask you a question. How did you know the plaintiff? Did you know him before he came to you or no?
No.
Do you normally research your potential clients or students or whatever before you?
No.
Okay.
I lost interest, and the class wasn't something that
Right.
she was
But here's the
offering.
thing. You're going to have to be able to... let me explain to you how it works, okay? This is like... There's not a refund here unless there's a breach of contract. You don't get to start a program, go, ugh, it's too much work, and then not do it. But if you're right and the program is an illegitimate program, then you should get your money back. The problem is you walk in here and you have zero proof that it's an illegitimate program. You say, a friend of mine told me it was. You have zero proof that there's a problem with it. She has proof that people have gotten their licenses based on the program. The program she's a marketer of somebody else's program. What she does is she's a retailer of an accredited program that sells to a lot of different vendors. You're not the only vendor who does it. So it sounds to me like you kind of lost interest. I am not going to award you your $1,300 back. I am going to order you to pay her on the counterclaim the remaining $700. That's my verdict.
All right, so it sounds like the plaintiff just lost interest in this course here. One test and that's it?
The class wasn't accredited, so even though if I passed the exam, I wouldn't be able to have the license to go to any pharmacy.
You heard the explanation on that from the judge, right?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe you're wrong about that.
Possible.
Give us some more about this sweet talk you're telling us about. What's sweet talk?
She keeps saying, just go forward with it. You'll pass it. You'll have a good paying job and everything, but I don't know.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
That's why.
Are you mad at your dad for suggesting this in the first place?
Well, he had a good thing in his mind, and he thought maybe it will work.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, head right down there. All right, so step on in here. How you feeling about this outcome here?
I'm so happy.
Was that your reputation on the line in that courtroom?
Yes.
Is that what you were fighting for out there?
Yes.
And how did it go?
It was very, very good. And I just told him I'm gonna follow up by small claim court, but he told me after that.
All right, Harvey?
Okay, so actually what I'm going to say here is what every bad teacher says is just because you don't like a class makes the class deficient. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This episode is brought to you by HBO's The Regime. Academy Award winner Kate Winslet stars in the new HBO original limited series, The Regime. With her nation on the verge of greatness, the Chancellor, played by Winslet, becomes increasingly paranoid and delusional. She will stop at nothing to prove her worth on the world stage, or end up a national disaster. From executive producers of Succession, HBO's The Regime premieres March 3rd on Max.
These are the plaintiffs, Stephanie Kruger and Kevin. Stephanie says the defendant entered her apartment before she officially moved out and tossed her belongings so he could rent it out to someone else early and make a quick buck. The majority of her stuff are kitchen things, but she's also missing jewelry, clothing, even a bridesmaid's dress she's supposed to wear to her friend's wedding. She called the cops because she was constructively evicted, is owed $702, and is suing for just that today. This is the defendant, Max Levin. He says the plaintiffs were late paying rent, and the last month's rent they didn't pay at all. They texted and told him they were sorry about missing rent, stating they'd moved to Atlanta, so he had his workers enter the apartment to get it ready for the next tenant. The plaintiffs trashed the place. It was full of nothing but garbage and beer cans, and they're just making things up now in an attempt to score a payday. Oh, them? Ah! He's accused of breaking and entering. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $2,600 for additional repairs and 1 month's rent.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiffs say the defendant entered their apartment before they moved out and trashed their stuff. But the defendant says the plaintiffs were deadbeats and the trashing was their doing. It's the case of trash and dash.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Stephanie Kruger and Kevin, what is the relationship between you two?
My boyfriend.
Okay. Kevin, you've asked us not to mention your last name. We will respect that. You folks are suing the company, which you've asked not to mention, owned by Max Levin?
Correct.
Okay. Which is a real estate company?
Yes.
All right. For $702 for personal belongings that you say that they inappropriately threw out of yours during a time when you, according to you, were still entitled to be there.
Yes,
you have a
Your Honor.
counterclaim against her for $2,600 for repairs and lost rent. Tell me what happened here.
On August of 2014, I moved in. I occupied apartment 8 with my boyfriend here, and we signed a year lease. It was up in August, as of August
what year?
1st. We signed it in August of 2014.
Okay.
And then we lived there for up until May 2015, and then the apartment was sold to this guy in, I believe...
To the defendant.
To the
and
defendant.
that was sold when?
It was around March of 2015.
March of 2015? Okay.
When we occupied the apartment originally, we had to pass an employment check. We had to have proof of income, just things that you would standardly need. When he bought the property, nobody else needed that. We actually had drug dealers living in the building. We had a lot of issues within him owning the property. So we decided that, okay, we don't want to live here anymore. Our lease is up in August, so we wanted to move out. I told him I wanted him to keep the security deposit, and I would leave the apartment in good standing.
But you're not entitled to do that. That security is for security. It's not for you to pay your rent.
Yes.
But now, yeah, well, do you understand you're not entitled to do that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I
So
went down-
you told him to keep the security, that would have covered until July ostensibly, but what about August?
No, it's up
Ended
August 1st.
Oh, okay.
Or July 31st.
All right, so you tell him use the security, and he takes you to housing court.
Yes.
All right, I need to see, both parties need to hand me now anything they have from housing court.
From housing court?
Did you have a lawyer in housing court?
I did.
And where did you get the lawyer?
It was actually just through Neighborhood Legal Services.
So legal services?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a stipulation from court? Looks like this?
Yes, it is.
Immediate warrant to issue, but the warrant was not to be executed until August 10th. Now, if you had told them July 1st, we're not paying rent, we're just going to move out July 30th, why didn't you successfully move out July 30th?
We had most of the things out. August 3rd, I came to get the rest of my belongings, and by the time I showed up the stairs, the whole apartment was completely wiped out. There was workers in there.
What does wiped out mean?
Completely empty.
Okay, what had you left behind?
Everything in my kitchen, my bridesmaid dress, everything in my closet.
What does everything in your kitchen mean?
Pots, pans, plates.
You had not dismantled the kitchen yet?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
That was what I was coming to do that day.
Okay.
I also have the item list of the things that did go missing that day.
Okay.
So I went to the back porch after speaking with the workers. I was like, why are you guys in here? I don't have to be out till the 10th. I came to get the rest of my belongings and take my last shower here today. And they were like, this is what we were told to do. And
where was your stuff? Did they tell you your stuff is on the back porch?
I walked to the back porch. They didn't tell me. I walked to the back porch and I seen a lot of bags. I opened one of the bags, and at the top of the bag was a shattered picture frame of my best friend that died a year ago that day. And it got me really upset, and I walked down the stairs. I walked out, and when I was getting ready to walk out, the worker got on the phone with the landlord. So I went downstairs to call the police to tell them that I was now locked out and my locks were changed, and I had a court order that I didn't have to be out yet. By the time they showed up, the workers had already locked up my apartment and left. They told me that they couldn't break down the door unless it was a life or death situation. So they told me I had to take it to small claims to deal with.
Okay, now, when you saw your stuff, why didn't you just take your stuff if that's what you were there for, to take the last of your stuff?
Because I just got upset and I went downstairs and I figured the police would be able to come and at least let these guys know that what they did was wrong. I thought I was under the impression that they violated what we had agreed to.
So what happened here?
In July, she kept texting and calling and saying, I'll have your rent. Stop by this day after 6. Management company would stop by. They weren't home. So eventually it came to a point where just got an attorney, filed the eviction. Eviction was granted with the stipulation that she will be completely out by the 3rd of the month. If she's out by the 3rd, I would waive the rent that's owed for the previous month.
Why isn't that in the stipulation? Did you have an attorney?
There. Yeah.
Did you have an attorney?
It's in the attorney's invoice.
It's on the court paperwork. Hold on one second. But yours has by August 4th written up here, and hers magically doesn't.
On my attorney's paperwork, it has the same information.
But I know that you're not lying, and I'll tell you how I know he's not lying, because I see the letter that your attorney wrote to you, and here's what your attorney says to you. And it's actually a really good letter. I mean, she's very thorough. On July 30th, we represented you in Buffalo City Court for an eviction proceeding. We were able to reach an agreement with your landlord delaying your eviction until August 10th, 2015. On August 5th, you recontacted this office stating that before you had completely moved out August 3rd, they came into your apartment and removed some of your belongings and destroyed some of your belongings. And then they advise you what it is that you should do. So what happened to her stuff?
The only things that were in the apartment were beer bottles and debris and garbage.
What about kitchen stuff?
There was no kitchen stuff there.
Who cleaned the place out?
Management company had the place cleaned out.
Okay, do you have an affidavit from whoever cleaned the place out? Let me see that.
And she also advised them that she was completely out of the apartment.
And gave them the keys.
And provided them with the keys. She saw the workers there.
So they didn't ditch the bags until she left?
Absolutely.
What was it that you guys had left behind?
She has the whole list here.
Pots, pans, silverware, cleaning supplies, blankets, clothing, my bridesmaid dress for a wedding I'm in this month, jewelry, mirror, picture frames, food, phone chargers, microwave, a toaster.
You don't have any pictures of any of these things? You don't have receipts for any of these things? You don't have...
I didn't think that they would be... Well, to be honest, I just wasn't in the condition where I took pictures, and that was my fault.
Your tenant advised me that she had moved out and anything left was garbage. This is what the management company is saying.
And that was false, because when I did show up there, I had everything in my kitchen. I wouldn't have taken it to this extent. I'm way too young to be able to go out and buy everything all over again for a whole kitchen. And I just felt like the law was broken. I felt like my court dispute was violated.
Okay, may I see your list? You have a counterclaim against her for $2,600, $750 of it to paint and repair the walls. Do you have pictures of the walls?
Unfortunately, my phone was thrown in the toilet by my son, but I do have the invoice.
I don't care that you painted. I care why you painted. Like, it has to be something they did wrong. So you have to be able to prove to me that the condition that those walls were in was beyond normal wear and tear for, how long were you there?
For a year.
For a year-long lease. What was wrong with it that would require painting other than, you know, if you want to freshen up or whatever?
So do tenants typically abuse the apartments they rent?
It's typical. That's why you pay a deposit.
Well, you pay a deposit for security, but is it typical that they kind of wreck the place?
No, because people want to get their deposit back, so they're not going to wreck the place.
That's a good counterpoint. You got to admit, that's a good counterpoint going inside the courtroom.
I don't think there were any holes in the walls, to be honest, but...
You have no clue. All right, so now remove and replace the carpeting. Tell me what was wrong with the carpeting.
Carpets had cigarette butts on them, alcohol things spilled all over the carpets.
Okay, do you have any pictures of the carpeting?
Pictures I do not have.
Okay. Here's the thing. To be able to keep any security deposit for that and/or prevail on a counterclaim, you have to be able to show that the way she got the rugs and the way she returned the rugs were beyond normal wear and tear. You cannot prove how she got the rugs, and you can't even show the way that she returned the rugs because you didn't keep pictures. Clean and sanitize, $250. Do you have proof that you paid $250 to clean and sanitize? And why was that necessary?
The place was absolutely disgusting.
Other than you continuously telling me that, you don't have any pictures.
There were beer bottles and debris and garbage scattered throughout the unit.
Okay, $250 in legal fees. You were referring to for the original
Eviction.
problem? Okay, did you get it then?
We made the stipulation if she was out by the 3rd, we'd waive that.
Correct. And you did take possession on the 3rd. So where do you get the right to sue for August rent? You don't, is the answer. Okay? All right. Show me that list that you made up. You know, how are you, you know, you've got proof problems too. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I mean, you know, when I tell him, well, how are you going to claim that when you don't have pictures? How are you going to claim that you don't have receipts? You put me in a very difficult position when you do something like that. The bridesmaids dress. Why would you leave the bridesmaids dress behind?
It was important. I didn't want to pack it up and throw it in boxes. But I do also have text messages I sent to him, one being that day of that incident and one being the 5th. And I said, Max, do you still have my belongings from my apartment? And I got no response. I have all of our messages.
Do you have a text from the day of? Let me see.
And he actually claimed that he was not on my lease. He was acting like he didn't know who Kevin was.
Is Kevin on your lease?
Yes, he is. And I have my original lease as well.
All right. Hey, Max, my phone has been, this is on 7/23. My phone has been broke. I lost all my contacts. I was waiting on a new text from you to get your number again. Having drug dealers all over the building, just something we can't live with anymore. No problem. I've already filed an eviction. And then on 8/3, my property was not allowed to be touched or removed until the 10th. Therefore, the police are on their way. We are filing a suit. We have all paperwork from court. We have already moved, just had minor stuff left. You, I'm sure, know what the law is on this. You can't, even if a tenant leaves stuff behind, you're supposed to wait a reasonable amount of time before you consider it abandoned property. So the real problem that you have is a proof problem. Do not show him the list. Tell me what was left behind.
Microwave, the bridesmaid's dress, my grandma's blanket, plates, silverware, a couple other things.
All right. For the reasons that I've already explained on your counterclaim, 0. And I'm having some difficulty with the getting rid of the bags. She's calling the police from downstairs. It's very clear that everybody's really upset about it that same day. There's text to you that same day. If it were beer bottles, there would not be phone calls. There would not be attempts to try to reach you. So I don't believe you when you say, it's really not you that I don't believe. It's the owner of the management company, I guess, that I don't believe. So what do we call this part, Douglas?
Call this a little rough justice.
A little rough justice. I am ordering the defendant to pay the plaintiffs the sum of $350 on the claim, on the counterclaim 0. That's my verdict.
Well, it seems like the defendant jumped the gun by throwing out what you call garbage. What's your reaction to this?
Well, I think in the future I'll hold any belongings that are left over, and hopefully business will go on as usual.
Mm-hmm. Is there a chance that what you considered garbage they consider belongings?
I'm sure it could be, but I wish him the best in the future.
Okay. All right. So you sued for over 700, and you didn't get that, 350.
Yes.
Satisfied?
I'll take what I can get, I guess. I still don't feel like he learned his lesson from the whole thing, but I'm just ready to move on with my life.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Harvey?
Okay, great. In a lot of states, landlords have a duty to try and get in touch with the tenant if the tenant leaves stuff behind, to try and give them their stuff back before they trash it or give it away or whatnot. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Diane Vandermolen. She says she gave the defendant an old freezer, and when he brought it outside on a dolly, the door swung open and smashed into her cherry 2001 Mustang. The door damaged her fender. The cops wrote up a report, and when she presented him with the bills, he said he didn't feel he should pay for all of it because her kid should have helped him move the freezer. What? She's suing for $790.48, the amount she's owed for the repair. This is the defendant, Mansour Kamanzi. He says he arrived at the plaintiff's house. Her two sons moved things out of the way so he could get to the freezer in her garage, and they were also supposed to help him move it. As soon as the door swung open and hit her car, she yelled at her kids and said, "You were supposed to help him move it." He feels like they should split the cost to fix the small dent on her car because he was promised assistance and didn't get it. So here they are. He's accused of swinging the wrong way.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff sold a freezer to the defendant, and when he was taking it, the door smashed into her cherry Mustang. But the defendant says the plaintiffs were slackers who promised to help move the freezer. It's the case of freezer. He hardly knew her.
Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
Welcome,
Diane Vandermolen, you are suing Mansour Kamanzi for $790.48. The estimate for a car repair that, according to you, was damage from his negligence. Tell me what happened.
Well, this May, I sold my house, and I was getting rid of a lot of stuff. So I put a lot of stuff on Craigslist, and I had a freezer and refrigerator and freezer that I was giving away, but you just had to pick it up. So he called me, and I said that he could have it, but you have to pick it up yourself. So he came with a truck, and he had a dolly. So he proceeded to go in the garage, and he took the refrigerator freezer and put it on, no problem, and backed it up and put it into his truck.
How'd you put it inside your truck?
Put it on the truck.
I lifted it myself.
You lifted the refrigerator?
Yes.
Wow. Hand me that piano. Okay. So go ahead.
And my cars were on the parked in the driveway, on the outside.
Okay.
Going in. And so then he came back to get the freezer, and he put the freezer on the dolly, and he backed it up, and he didn't secure it at all or anything, and the freezer door flung open and hit my Mustang.
Let me see the pictures of the damage.
This one and this one.
What happened?
Well, I was backing it out, and I don't know, it wasn't no wind or anything like that blowing, and I pulled it. I had to pull it in between two cars.
How much was the room between the two cars?
There was a lot of room. You could probably put it.
How many feet?
Oh, I don't know.
Was it more than the distance between you and the defendant?
Yes, you could probably put another car.
You could probably put another car.
Yeah,
so that's plenty of room. That's not like you're. So how did it happen? What did you do? Did you put it on the dolly like this, and then the door swings that way, and the door opened?
Well, the door
you didn't put it on the dolly with the door being leaned on?
No, I had it.
That would have been smarter, right?
Yes, it would have. Mm-hmm. It would have been smarter to strap it up.
Right.
And it wasn't that much space in between the cars. She got
so why is this lady having to sue you? What's your defense?
I went there to pick it up, okay, like she said. And it was a bunch of items already in the garage, so I had to end up moving a lot of stuff myself. It did cross my mind. I said, well, I think it would be best if she moved her cars. Because she got a two-door garage, okay? Car here and a car here, so I had to maneuver between the cars. I can't even tell you what actually happened. It was, like I said, it wasn't no wind blowing.
Okay, well,
the dolly
here's the part I
didn't
can't
lean,
tell you, and I wasn't there. You were getting free stuff, you didn't strap it down, and you damaged your car. So what is your defense?
So what's the solution if she won't move the freezer? What's the solution?
Unfortunately, this stuff happens, and unfortunately, accidents happen, so she should have to pay.
That's the wrong answer. What's the solution?
You put me on the spot, Harvey. Which one?
That's the wrong answer, too. What's the solution?
Leave the freezer.
Leave the freezer. Just say, I'm not going to move the freezer. Okay, going inside the courtroom.
First of all, I'm not a professional mover. Okay, so
she should have known that when she invited you onto her property to give you free stuff that you would damage your car.
No, I mean,
because you're not a professional mover.
No, it wasn't intentional, Your Honor.
I know it wasn't intentional. I'm asking you why the lady has to sue you to get you to pay for the damages.
Well,
accidents happen every day. What doesn't happen every day is a case where you are so blameworthy and then you make no effort to pay for the damage to the car. So you must have some defense. You must have some reason you don't think it's all your fault. What is your reason?
Initially, let me go to the beginning if you don't mind. After it happened, I pulled it out, it hit the car, okay? She was talking to some other people that she had at her house. And so when she heard it hit the car, that's when she turned around to her son and told her son, I told you to help him.
Is that the son?
Yeah.
Yes.
And according to you, she told her son, I told you to help him?
Yes. She told both of them to help me initially, and I had to move the items.
Why didn't you wait for help?
Because they didn't help me. I'm trying to get in and trying to get out. I was already there for almost an hour. I'm just there to get something and get out of there. So it hit the car. She turned around, told her son, I told you to help him. I was able to get the freezer between the cars out in the open, and the guy that was there with his family.
I'm sorry. Do you have a defense? What's your defense? Why don't you have to pay to repair her car?
No,
Tell me why.
I never said that I didn't have to pay anything.
Wait, I got a better question. Have you paid anything?
He did say he would pay.
That's not the case.
He had said on the, of course, on the police there he said he would pay. And then what happened? You couldn't reach him?
No, I called the police because I wanted to.
Yeah. And then what happened when you tried to get him to pay?
Well, I called him and said, this is how much it would be. And he said, well, I think I should only pay half of it because your kids should have helped. And my kids are playing basketball. I did say, can you help him? He didn't look like he needed it. He got the first one.
Well, he lifted a refrigerator.
Yeah.
Let me see what you've got. Hand it to Douglas, please. So whether somebody else was supposed to help you or not, you showed up there to do it without knowing if she had two sons who would help you. You just show up there doing it. You were planning on doing it alone. And no matter what, at the moment that the car was damaged, you had done it alone. So how is that her son's fault for playing basketball instead of helping you? It isn't.
No, I didn't accuse her son.
Okay, so when are you going to pay the lady? What are you waiting for?
Here's the thing, Your Honor. She called me almost 3 months later, okay? She said, well, I have an estimate for $427, okay? So when she called me and told me it was $427, I said, okay, well, maybe we can go half on it. And she said, no, I want all of it.
Involved will pay for damages.
Yeah, she said, I want all of it, and if not, I'm gonna take you to court.
Yeah.
Okay, I said, well, that's...
Can I just ask you a question? Do you own anything? Do you have a car?
Yes.
Okay, if someone went by your car and the door to the refrigerator they were moving opened and damaged your car, would you expect them to pay for it?
Yeah, I would expect them.
Okay, you would expect them to pay for it. What if they were giving you for free the refrigerator? Wouldn't you think it was a really terrible thing if they made no effort to pay for it, which is what you've done? You've done nothing.
I mean, well, I haven't seen any paperwork. She just threw a number at me, Yana.
Yeah, at which point you said, I'm not paying it. You didn't say, let me see the paperwork, did you? Give me the estimates, will you? And she was offering to do it at the cheapest place at that point.
Yeah.
Show me all the, I guess you should have taken what was behind door number 1 at the time, huh?
No, it wasn't.
It was. What it was you got yours and you don't care. It's what's wrong with America. You got yours, you don't care, you don't feel bad. Nice lady giving away stuff, gets her car damaged, and your answer is, well, your son should have helped me. Because I can't move a freezer. I can only move a refrigerator freezer. Come on.
If I didn't
Come on, stop talking. You're irritating me. It hurts my ears. Don't talk. How many different estimates did you get?
I got 2.
He claims that you told him that you could get it done for $487. Did that ever happen?
$427.
$427.
Well, actually, I did have 3, but I couldn't find that one.
The lower one? What a coincidence.
Yeah.
All right. In any event, I'm awarding you the middle estimate. I'm ordering you to pay her $580.37.
Your Honor, you mind if I see the pictures?
You're going to argue? Yeah,
No,
you'll see it.
I want to see the pictures.
Yeah, you'll
of
see
the
it, but there
damage.
is none so blind as he who will not see. Make sure he gets a copy of all the estimates.
All right, the defendant's right here, looking a little sheepish here. How do you think that went?
It went for her. Yeah. Obviously. But it's all right.
The judge asked you over and over, what is your defense? What is your defense? And you never really got one out.
Well, I never said I wouldn't pay. You know what I mean? I just said we can go half.
And then the court rules that you're entirely responsible, so you have to pay the full freight.
It is
right?
what it is.
All right, watch that door next time, of course, right?
All right.
That man can lift a refrigerator by himself.
Yeah, he didn't look like he needed any help.
Well,
He didn't.
anyone can use some help lifting a refrigerator. What are you doing playing basketball while the guy's lifting a refrigerator there?
I was just working on my shot.
How's that coming along?
Need some more work.
Okay. All right. You satisfied with what you got here in the middle?
Well, I think I should have gotten the higher one. But, I guess I'll take what I get.
All right.
It's better than nothing.
Over to Harvey. So,
I mean, this guy's so right that if you're put in a position where you're going to damage somebody's property, if you do something, just don't do it. We have a couple of seconds left. Where are you from?
Fairfax, Virginia.
Fairfax, Virginia?
Houston, Texas.
Houston?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Did you guys know that on the TMZ Celebrity Tour, we have seen Rihanna, we have seen Ben Affleck, we have seen Samuel L. Jackson, we have seen Kim Kardashian 3 times. We saw Kim Kardashian 3 times. It was like she was following the bus. I swear to God, I felt like we needed to get a restraining order against Kim Kardashian 3 times in one tour. We'll see you next time.
This episode is brought to you by HBO's The Regime. Academy Award winner Kate Winslet stars in the new HBO original limited series, The Regime. With her nation on the verge of greatness, the Chancellor, played by Winslet, becomes increasingly paranoid and delusional. She will stop at nothing to prove her worth on the world stage, or end up a national disaster. From executive producers of Succession, HBO's The Regime premieres March 3rd on Max.